Welcome to the Commander Crew, a Magic the Gathering Commander YouTube channel where we ask the question, who's your commander?
We want to thank you for watching our videos. You can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell notification icon.
You can also go to thecommandercrew.com to check out our t-shirts, masks, pet hoodies, and other Commander Crew goodies.
If you want to buy any of the cards seen in this video, be sure to click our TCG Player affiliate link in the show notes below.
Lastly, you can help us out by heading to our official Patreon page and becoming a direct supporter of the channel. Now let's get to the video. Oh no.
What's up everyone, it's your boy Eddie from the Commander Crew, and today we're going to do a deck tech on Prossh Skyraider of Kher. Prossh Skyraider of Kher costs 3 generic, a black, a red, and a green for 5/5 dragon that reads, when you cast this spell, create X01 red kobold creature tokens named Kobolds of Kher Keep, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast it. He also has flying and sacrifice another creature. Prossh Skyraider of Kher gets +1/+0 until end of turn. This is one of my absolute favorite decks. I've had it for quite a while now. I just recently did some upgrades, and so I thought I'd do a deck tech on it. So basically, it's an aristocrats build. We're going to be doing a lot of creating creatures and sacrificing them, primarily with Prossh. Probably the biggest benefit of running Prossh is the fact that we can create so many tokens, so we want to make sure that we're casting him and sacrificing him as often as we possibly can, so that we can make more and more and more tokens. And the easiest way to go about doing that is to generate as much mana as we possibly can. We don't run food chain in here, so there's no infinite combo with him. There are a couple of others, but that's not really our goal. Our goal primarily is create as many creatures as we can, sacrifice them, and deal as much damage as we can to our opponents. Let's kick things off with our ramp package. So our ramp package here includes Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. Dockside Extortionist is really nice because not only can it create a lot of treasure tokens, it also leaves around a body to sacrifice to Prossh. Then we have Farseek, Golgari Signet, Gruul Signet, Nature's Law, Rakdos Signet, Rampant Growth, Sakura Tribe Elder, which is nice because he can sacrifice himself to find a land, and that sacrifice ability will trigger some of our damage dealers. Then we also have 3 Visits, Harrow, Rolling Regrowth. Pitiless Plunderer is really nice because if we put this together with Ashnod's Altar, one of our sacrifice outlets, we'll be able to create infinite mana and infinitely cast Prossh. Then lastly, there's Road to Ruin. Now there's definitely more efficient 2-drop mana sources, but this one here at 3 mana isn't bad because we can play it at instant speed, and then on top of that, we can play it out of our graveyard as removal, which is really, really nice.
Very nice. High five.
Next up, card draw. So our card draw package includes Skull Clamp, which also kind of acts as a sacrifice outlet as long as the creature that we're attaching it to has 1 toughness. Then we have Plumb the Forbidden, which again, another sacrifice outlet. When we cast it, we can sacrifice as many creatures as we have, and then draw a card for each of those creatures. Then we have Sylvan Library, Fecundity, which is really nice when we're sacrificing as many creatures as we are. We're going to be able to draw way more cards than our opponents are going to be able to. While this is a world enchantment, it's going to benefit us much more than our opponents. Then Jessica's Will, which is just a powerhouse of a card and an absolute must include. Valakut Awakening. Reprocess, which is basically another Plumb the Forbidden, but at 4 mana and at sorcery speed. So it's not as good, but what's really nice is that we can sacrifice any artifact or lands in addition to the creatures. So it doesn't just have to be creatures that we're sacrificing, and we also don't lose life when we're sacrificing them. Then there's Smothering Abomination. There's Yawgmoth Thrawn Physician. Korvold Fakehurst King, which is a powerhouse card. In fact, it's usually a commander on its own in this style of a deck. I just personally like Prossh a little bit better because it can generate its own fodder. Then there's Return of the Wild Speaker, which can act as both a card draw engine and a win con. Then Tevish Sot, which draws you an obscene amount of cards, but in addition to that, it also creates a bunch of sacrifice fodder. And then there's Liliana Dreadborn General, which if we have enough creatures on the battlefield to sacrifice, and in this deck we likely will, we'll be able to not only draw a ton of cards, but she also generates sacrifice fodder for us.
You're a very advanced race. Together, we can look for a solution.
We have one. Sacrifice the Fire King.
Well, that's not very advanced.
Worth a shot.
So next up we have removal. We have Nature's Claim, Tragic Slip, Vandal Blast, Abrupt Decay, and then Artifact Mutation, which is really nice because it's a 2-mana instant speed artifact removal spell that also generates us a bunch of sacrifice fodder that we can use to pump Prossh later. Then there's Assassin's Trophy, Attrition, which is also a sacrifice outlet that can destroy creatures, Beast Within, Chaos Warp, Kazul's Fury, which if Prossh gets big enough, we'll be able to sacrifice him to Kazul's Fury and literally throw him at one of our opponents. Then Hagramauling, Zot's Will, which is awesome for graveyard hate, but it also creates more sacrifice fodder for us. And then Garruk, Cursed Huntsman, which destroys creatures, draws you cards, and creates more sacrifice fodder. Just an absolute powerhouse. Next up, some damage dealers. We have Blood Artist, of course, Goblin Bombardment, which is also a sacrifice outlet. We have Impact Tremors, Zulaport Cutthroat, Bastion of Remembrance, Mayhem Devil, Spiteful Prankster, Falconwrath Noble, Outpost Siege, which if we want, we can also use it for its cons ability and draw more cards, Poison Tip Archer, Perforos, God of the Forge, which is probably one of the best cards in this deck. With Perforos on the battlefield, we can cast our commander, and immediately on the first cast, we deal 12 damage to each opponent. That's just absolutely crazy. Then we have Vindictive Vampire, and of course, Sir Conrad. Next up, a couple more sacrifice outlets. So we have Ashnod's Altar, which we spoke a little bit about earlier, and using it with an infinite combo with Pitiless Plunderer and our commander. Then there's also Phyrexian Altar and Thermopod, which also work in the infinite combo in place of Pitiless Plunderer.
Let us see what you brought.
Next up, sacrifice fodder. So first is Chatterfang, which works beautifully with Prossh. Every time we cast him and we make some kobolds, we're going to be able to make just as many squirrel tokens. Then there's also Avenger of Zendikar, which, as everyone knows, is an absolute powerhouse in any deck it's in. But in this one in particular, with this, we're going to be able to make a ton of plants, which are going to work beautifully as sacrifice fodder in this deck. Then lastly, there's Field of the Dead, a land that makes tokens whenever another land enters the battlefield. Yeah, we're gonna play that card.
Shit. Of course.
Next, Prossh is going to be attacking a lot, and I mean a lot. So we want to be able to make sure that he deals a ton of damage when he gets in for those attacks. So first off, we have Tainted Strike, which kind of contradicts what I just said. He doesn't need to deal a ton of damage with this card. He just needs to deal 10, but it's going to take a player out of the game. Then there's Ogre Battle Driver, which is crazy with all the kobolds that we're putting on the battlefield. They're all going to get +2/+0, and they're going to be able to attack the turn that they come into play. Then lastly, there's Embercleave, which is insane. When we attack with all of these creatures, even the 0/1s, we're going to be able to cast Embercleave for extremely cheap, attach it to our commander, and then double up the damage that we're dealing because of the double strike that Embercleave grants. If we do this and sacrifice all of our kobolds, we can take a player out the first time that we attack. Then lastly, there's Kessig Wolfrun. With this card, we can dump a ton of mana into it, and we can use that to power up Prossh as big as we possibly can. In my Prossh deck, like I said before, it's one of my all-time favorite decks to play. I have an absolute blast every time I bring this deck to the table. I also love seeing how other people have built Prossh, so if you have a Prossh deck, please make sure that you comment down below with your deck list. Also, if you have any interactions that you would have liked to see in this deck, or that you would put in it if you made your own Prossh deck, please make sure you comment that as well. And that's all for today. Until next time, take care. Please don't don't forget to leave a comment down below, hit that thumbs up icon, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our content, and also check out our website, thecommandercrew.com, where you can support us by signing up to become a patron or using any of the affiliate links listed, such as Your Playmat, where by using our link you can get 10% off custom sleeves and playmats, or buying your MTG singles and collectibles from TCG Player and Amazon, where we get a kickback for all of your purchases. And of course, Teespring, where you can get your custom Commander Crew hoodies, t-shirts, stickers, and even phone cases. You can also chat with us directly on Instagram, Twitter, and in our Discord if you'd like to talk Magic or be a part of any of our future videos. That's all for today, and until next time, take care.